Love is not measured by distance, but by how deeply two hearts stay connected despite it. Arav was a 25-year-old architect living in Mumbai. His life revolved around blueprints, deadlines, and the chaos of the city. He had little time for himself, until one random night, he joined an online art community out of boredom. There, he met Mira. Mira lived in a quiet town in Hamokal. She was 23, worked in a small bookstore, and spent her evenings painting sunsets she could see from her balcony. Their worlds were different. His was fast and noisy, hers was calm and slow. But sometimes opposite souls connect faster than similar ones. It began with small talks about books, movies, favorite colors. Mira found peace in his grounded nature, and Arav found calmness in her simplicity. Weeks passed, and their conversations became longer. They would stay up late, sharing everything they could not tell anyone else. Arav started waking up early just to text her good morning, and Mira waited every night for his call. Distance did not matter. They built a world within their words. One day, Arav said softly on the call, "Mira, do you ever wonder what it would be like if we met in real life?" She smiled, looking at the stars. "I think I already know. You are already here in my world." That night, they both fell asleep smiling, feeling closer than ever. Months passed. They had never met, yet they knew each other's hearts better than anyone else. When Arav had a tough day at work, Mira's voice became his peace. When Mira felt lonely, Arav's messages made her feel seen and valued. They shared laughter, dreams, and sometimes tears. They celebrated birthdays through video calls, sent handwritten letters, and watched movies together online. But as time went on, the distance began to test them. Arav's projects increased, and he started missing her calls. Mira's bookstore faced trouble, and she felt helpless without him there. Small misunderstandings began to creep in. A missed text, a delayed reply, silence where words used to live. One night Mira asked, "Arav, are we fading away?" He paused. "No, Mira, we are just far away, but I still love you." Distance can slow us down, but it cannot break us. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Then promise me something," she whispered. "Promise me that one day you will come," he said softly. "I promise." Days turned into months again. They both kept working, building their futures quietly. They talked less, but never stopped thinking of each other. Every time Mira looked at the sky, she whispered his name. Every time Arav passed a bookstore, he smiled, thinking of her. And then one morning, as Mira opened the door of her little shop, she froze. A man stood there, holding a small bouquet of daisies. His eyes were tired but kind, and his smile was exactly as she had imagined 100 times. "Arav," she breathed. He stepped closer and whispered, "I told you I would come." For a few seconds, silence filled the air. Then she ran into his arms. The world disappeared. No distance, no noise, just two hearts finding their way home. He gently said, "You waited for me all this time." Mira looked up at him with tears in her eyes and said, "'Cause I always knew you would find me." They spent that day walking around her town, laughing, talking, and catching up on everything they had missed. Every moment felt unreal. That evening, as the sun set behind the mountains, Arav took her hand and said, "This distance taught me what real love is. It is not about how often we see each other. but how we never stopped believing in each other. She smiled and leaned her head on his shoulder. And now, we never have to count the miles again. Months later, Mira moved to Mumbai to live closer to him. They started a small Artan design studio together, a blend of his architecture and her creativity. It became a symbol of their journey built on patience, trust, and love that survived miles apart. Every time they looked at each other, they remembered the nights when only their voices connected them. They had crossed thousands of miles, but what truly mattered was that they never gave up on each other. Because love, no matter how far, always finds its way home. If you enjoyed this beautiful story of long distance, love, and emotional connection, do not forget to subscribe to HeartTalk Stories for more heart-touching love tales that remind you what real love feels like.